Yeah, I would love to be in a competition like that. And if I were to lose and be told, this is why, this is what we're looking for, all it's gonna do is enhance my work moving forward. And Jason Kilmer, man. Jason
Kilmer.
Kilmer,
Yeah.
I've seen so many of his videos. It is so crazy the technique that he uses. I love. Yeah, for sure. My name is Cal. I am from Blacklisted Auto Detailing based out of Los Angeles and the San Fernando Valley area. And been detailing for about close to 6 years now. So I run a mobile detailing business. So it's just me.
6 years in, going through all the grime and dirt. How did you
Mhm.
get your start though? Like, what made you decide you wanted to play with dirt?
Yeah. So I've been in the automotive industry for over 15 years. I went to school at Universal Technical Institute for Mechanics. So I was a mechanic for about 15 years. And dealerships on the service side don't always pay so good. So what I wanted to do is I was like, okay, I like cleaning, I like keeping my car clean. So why don't I try and do this as a part-time gig? So what I did was I started getting like little bits of equipment here and there. I had an electric pressure washer.
Hmm.
And what I would do is I would carry two like Home Depot Husky tubs in my car, and then I would just do friends' cars on the weekends. So when I started seeing that I was getting more booked up, I was like, damn, like, okay. So even though I didn't know too much about pricing, I decided to tell myself, okay, if you get a certain amount of clients,
Yeah.
let's start pushing them into the week. And if we get enough during the week, let's just make this a full time thing. And it was one of those things where, I didn't want to have a plan B for. So I just went all in and started scheduling people. Um, Once I did that, I kind of was still having my regular 9 to 5. And one of my friends had her dad owned a mechanic shop in North Hollywood. So I started working there on weekends. So when I wouldn't schedule, I would work there 100% of the time. If I would schedule, I would tell him, hey, I can't come in today. And he was really cool with it. But I ended up leaving my 9 to 5 and I left with a little bit of money. And I was like, you know what? I'm starting to like this detailing thing a lot more. So I was like, if I could find someone that has like a setup
Hmm.
that I can buy, I think I had probably like $3,000 disposable. I was like, I'll put in my 2 weeks notice. So funny thing enough, I asked the man above, I was like, hey, I was like, if you find me one, I was like, I'll put in my 2 weeks notice right now. And lo and behold, I went on Facebook Marketplace, found this guy up in Redlands that had a trailer. He had a right look trailer.
Mm,
So I
okay.
knew that it was all the stuff in there. It was just a 10-year-old trailer. So he wanted 2 grand for it, said, come up, take a look. Had everything, had tools, had the trailer, the pressure washer, the hose, the reel, everything. Just pretty much turnkey. And yeah, sure enough, I picked it up and I told my boss the next day. I was like, hey, 2 weeks notice. The funny thing is that when those 2 weeks were up and I started my mobile detailing business, that's right when the lockdown hit for COVID.
Mm.
So, to be honest with you, that was actually a blessing in disguise because nobody wanted to do, contact and stuff like that. So it was very easy for me to schedule
Yeah.
contactless services, just leave your key outside, I'll bill you through this. And that's how it got started.
I mean, that's a scary time. Even though it was you were able to
Yeah.
make it work, like that had to be nerve wracking. You're jumping into a new business, and now a pandemic hits, and what if this doesn't work? I mean, obviously you were okay because you had a fallback. You have a
Right.
technical ability.
Right.
Technicians, even though some dealerships don't always pay the best,
Yeah.
you always have a dealership you could jump to, things like that.
Exactly.
So you had a backup, but still
Yeah.
starting a brand new endeavor like that's
Yeah.
pretty brave.
It is, and at that time I couldn't take no for an answer. I couldn't feel like a failure and be like, hey, this is getting too hard. So
Hmm.
I knew I had to stick with it. And I'm a very hands on person, clearly, which is why I do a lot of detailing and stuff like that. But I had created my own website and I was like, okay, I got to push my stuff out. And I was like, I didn't know too much about website building or anything like that. So I decided to just put it up there. And then one day, shortly after I started and I had the website go live, I had somebody call me from, he was a security manager from Forest Lawn Cemeteries.
Oh,
And he's
cool.
like, hey, I saw you on your website. I was looking at other pricing and you sound decent. Um, Come through. He's like, I'm gonna give you some cars to work on.
Hmm.
If you do good, I'm gonna send you to all the forest lawns. And I was like, what? I was like, okay. So went to it, did my job. I was just like, hey, you know what? I need to connect to your electricity and your water. Not a
Hmm.
problem. So sure enough, we hit it off. And to be honest with you, that gave me such a big confidence boost,
Yeah.
because I was like, I don't know what he was looking for, how he found the website. Point is, he did.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, taking the pictures, putting them on Instagram, trying to reach out to friends and family. And it was, yeah, it was hard. It was hard at the beginning because for the first year, I was just going based off of like YouTube University, what I would learn there, what I knew about stuff. I had a really good connection with this company that I was getting products from at the beginning, and they would help me out a lot too. And they would blast me on their Instagram,
Mm.
so that helped out, and it wasn't until my second year that I actually found my mentor, and that just completely changed things for me.
Now, when a lot of people start, they go to that YouTube or university. That's one of the first places people go because you don't have to pay anything.
Right.
Was there anybody in particular that you used to watch or follow that you look back on, whether good or bad, and you're like, oh man, I really got my start watching this person?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a really big I'm a big nerd, so I'm really into technicalities and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And one of the first ones that I was like, yes, was Ammo NYC. He is amazing at the level of technicality that he has. And if you could see back here, I have my whiteboard and
Yeah, yeah.
all my stuff. So I love that. Really helped out a lot. And I would go back and forth because I knew like a lot of products that were getting tested and stuff like that was Pan the organizer.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's another one. And then from there I would just kind of look for random stuff, but he was like Ammo NYC was the main go-to guy, so he explained things a lot thoroughly. He wrote things down, which is what I like to do. So
Hmm.
I had notebooks that I was writing things down on. But again, it helps you to a certain point because by the time I met my mentor like a year after, I was like, God, what was I doing that for that whole first year? I mean, I knew I gave good results, but what we're doing now is completely different, So it definitely helps out. I am trying to put a little bit more content on YouTube.
Hmm.
I have my own channel, and I'm trying to refine that process to how would it be if I were doing these videos for me back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what would I teach myself? What are the things that I missed or that I didn't know at the very beginning? So it's great. It's gotten a lot better. Um a little saturated, I guess, on like, hey, buy my course online, it's this much, so just trying to figure out who I was back then and try to cater to that kind of helps. But yeah, those would be the main two on YouTube.
And then you mentioned you found a mentor, and I think everybody, whether they officially have one or not, they
Yeah.
eventually find somebody to latch on to and
Yeah.
grow, um, without you know getting too direct. Did your
Mhm.
mentor provide training for you? Did he encourage you in the business? And have you been to any trainings yourself, like brand trainings or anything like that?
Yeah. So at that point, I never knew that anybody had any trainings available.
Mm.
because the funny thing was that I had a friend whose boyfriend was getting into the detailing stuff, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna go get certified through a company." And I was like, "Certified?" I was like, "Who gets certified through a company?" I was like, "I've never heard of that," you know. But again, going back to my mentor, I found him on Instagram, and I sent him a message, and I was like, "Hey, these cars are amazing. I've been detailing for about a year. If anything, can I shoot you some questions here and there?" And he was very receptive. He was really cool because at the beginning, I found out that there was a lot of gatekeeping, a lot of
Yeah.
people that you would hit up and, ask a question and they'd just ghost you, So I was like, okay, it won't hurt to send a message. If he ghosts me, I'm used to it already, But he's like, yeah. So you start asking me, how did you start? This and that. And I was like, yeah, he was based out of San Diego. So I told him, I was like, hey, if I'm ever in the area, would it be okay if I go over and just shoot some questions with you? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then ironically enough, like 2 weeks later, it was our friend's birthday, and we asked where did they want to go, and they're like, let's go to San Diego. So I was like, okay. We went to San Diego, and I was like, hey, let's just stop off at right here at the shop. Just give me like 5 minutes.
Hmm.
Ended up talking with him for 45 minutes. My friends were super patient with me.
Hmm.
And what happened was that I was willing to make the sacrifice to come down from Van Nuys to San Diego
Hmm.
every day. So he pretty much took me under his wing, made me like his apprentice.
Mm.
Every time that I would go down there, he would pay me for it. If he had special projects, like for example, he called me one day and I had just been thinking about like how nice it would be to do a boat.
Mm.
And he's like, hey, you want to do a boat? So I was like, yeah. So I did that for a year.
Mm.
I went almost Monday through Friday for the whole year to go work with him down in San Diego. So it was a trek, but he catapulted my business 10 years. The advice that he gave me, very blunt. He's Dominican. I'm sorry, Dominican or Puerto Rican, and he's from New York. So no filter, just saying the stuff, telling me by the time you get back, you need to raise those prices and let me know, how it goes. So yeah, and up until now, he's been there for me. So I can always go back to him and just ask him anything, or if he needs something, I'll go work with him. Since then, I've been very, very fortunate to, well, at first I became more familiar with the products with Gion.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was a certified detailer for Gion.
Mm.
So we worked together. And back then it was a little bit harder to get into the program. So
Yeah.
they knew that I was with him, working with him, because I would always tag them. And maybe like a year and a half later, I ended up becoming a certified detailer for Gion.
Hmm.
So that's where it started. But the only other formal training after that, I would say, was this last year, where I got lucky, where I met David Sanchez from the Peterson when
Okay.
we
Yeah.
were up at Famous, and he managed to partner up with Sonax as well as Rigo
Hmm.
from Flex and everything, and they had their first ever certification class at the Peterson. Um, very, very good investment that I did, and yeah, that thing was amazing, and it was part of the IDA too. It was IDA certification also, so I love
Yeah.
that.
It's weird because when you talk about the gatekeeping, right?
Hmm.
As you've been progressing through the industry and your years are going, are you noticing that it's not as bad as it used to be because you're networking through this event to this person? Is it just the LA or Southern California community that you see that does this? Have you had vision on anywhere else in the country to see how they operate, or is it just a locale kind of thing?
From my understanding, a lot of it was here in California. There's a lot of we all have egos right here and everywhere, around. But I feel like California is a little bit more of a I guess, celebrity area, so we kind of take a few notes from them. But about a year ago, for the clinic where I met you and 818, also, I understand that that was one of the first clinics that were opening up after the whole COVID thing. So after the whole COVID thing, they hadn't done anything for like 4 years or something like that. So I was glad, because even going to one of the other locations, Apex in Pasadena,
Yeah.
we spoke about that. We spoke about how if we're there as a collective, like, we should help each other out. There are people that are still going to continue to gatekeep, and that's fine. But if we're there in like solidarity, and we're there to help each other out. So I do feel that it's gotten less and less. But one of the classes that I teach are like an introduction to detail, beginner detailing.
Yep.
And I always put on my, on my Instagram, if there's anybody that has questions, ask me. I was like, questions are free. I'm not going to charge you for that. And I have had an influx of people, like new detailers, ask me. I even did an interview, just like you're doing with me right now, with another detailer up north.
Hmm.
And he's like, yeah, I talk to these people, and they're like, well, if I answer any more questions, I'm gonna have to charge you. So it's still there, and I'm just like, that's like, that sucks. That sucks. And I was like, well, don't worry about that. I was like, let's, what questions do you have? Let's talk about it. Let's do this.
It's so tough to hear those kind of things because I mean I started years ago, but I started on the East Coast.
Yeah.
The East Coast is still filled with lots of gatekeeping. It's not the same community, it's not the same car culture, but still at the
Mm,
same time, like it kills me that I've come so far and I've seen so much now, and people are saying things like that when
yeah.
you're having major names in the industry. They have no problem sharing stuff freely and talking amongst
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
So why are we still doing things like that? um
Yeah.
I I've gotten to see a lot of really cool things in the LA area, especially with these small
Mhm.
little clinics and daily
Yeah.
trainings.
Actually met at 3D. Was
At
it? I
three
think
oh at Cars and Coffee with
with the
Rennie.
with the one with the guy from PNS. What's his name?
Rennie.
Rennie, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Rennie Doyle
Yeah.
Clinic. That's where it was, and
Yeah.
he's the one that told me, along with the 3D manager, like, you want to go talk to those guys, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, and
No,
I was circling you, so yeah,
it's all good. And it's one of those things too, like we want to talk. So a little bit backtracking,
yeah,
you do mobile detailing.
yes,
Now, I started as a shop guy. And
mm-hmm,
so for the most of my career, I've been shop based. I'm a studio guy. I don't want to work outside. I
yeah,
don't want to sweat. Oh, I
yeah,
like the climate controlled. But you are a mobile guy. You started as mobile.
mm-hmm.
What what do you notice is the biggest difference between a mobile detailer and a shop guy or a studio guy?
Thankfully, because of my mentor and other people that I've networked with, we've gotten a lot of I guess, support from people with car collections. And that's been one of their biggest pet peeves, that, if they have a 15, 20, 30 car collection, they can't take all those to the shop, or it's too much. So having someone come to their facility really helps out. I've worked with my friend in their body shop since I was 14. I like the fact that you can just go there, leave your car, and drop it off. But it kind of takes a while to get established. My mentor um has both. My mentor has the shop, and he has his mobile unit, so when he needs to go out. But again, 10 years of being there has pretty much established his name there. And right now, with the pricing and everything on things like that, it's really hard to get a
Mm.
shop. I would like to get a shop eventually, to be able to do like bigger things. Like, I do want to do PPF in the future, which is great, but there's also other locations that are kind of like renting out their space
Yeah.
because they're not getting an influx of people. So for me, honestly, after I was a mechanic, again, I'm a big tech nerd. So I went to work in the medical industry. I worked for Kaiser and UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
I was bored sitting in the office, so my office would overlook the freeway. So
Mm-hmm.
being able to be mobile kind of just it helps out every day because my office is always different. I'm always driving, and for me, it's fun. I'm used to it already. I do sweat a lot on the hot days, especially up here in the valley. But it's one of those working, So I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. Yeah,
Get it. It's just a different
yeah,
style for me, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around the
yeah,
whole rigs and the mobile
yeah,
detailing units. And now I've had some experience and I've done like the electric, battery pack
yeah.
generators versus, gas.
Hmm.
What is your ideal setup for a mobile unit?
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you how I started with and what I have now. So at the beginning, that right look trailer came with a gas powered generator.
Okay.
That thing was loud. So that's where I started having a lot of complaints from customers that it was way too loud. So I was like, okay. And then the trailer helped me out for like about like 3.5 years
Okay.
after 10 years of being used already. And then the motor gave out on the pressure washer. So I took that opportunity to kind of take a look at the Krenzel because
Okay.
my
Yeah.
mentor
Very
has a
nice
Krenzel
machine.
on his setup. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I like the fact that the TS, the total stop, turns off when you let it go. So I made the investment because it was roughly around the same price. It was about 1,300.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay. At the beginning, I didn't like the difference in pressure. But at the same time, you don't want to be working on a car with like a high pressure machine. You can damage it. So that thing's great. Um, right now, I could say, with exception of just where my hose reel is not,
Mhm.
my ideal setup is what I have now. What I have now is a Krenzel.
Okay.
I have a skinny 100-gallon tank
Oh,
because
nice.
prior to that, I had those really square ones, so it took up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Um, and then just my regular pressure washer. I started off with a trailer, then I had a truck, then I had a truck set up on top, and now I have an enclosed van, a Ford Transit. And
Yeah.
so for me, the most ideal is that an enclosed system with a skinny 100-gallon tank, electric pressure washer, and I now have it's a Predator inverter.
Yeah.
So it does a job, but it's way quieter and it's amazing. I've never gotten a complaint ever since. But I think the most important part is just having that enclosed part because I've seen people get their trailers stolen. I've seen people
Oh
get
yeah.
the trucks broken into and stuff like that. So yeah, having that, I think the inverter and the total stop Krenzel is the cream of the crop right there.
Yeah, the Kranzel is really nice. I know when we were building our last system, me and
Yeah.
a couple of the guys, we couldn't use it because it drew too many amps because we were using
Oh.
all battery.
Oh
So we
yeah.
had to go with the active. The
Mm.
active's a really good pressure washer, but there's a kind of a step up when you go from the active to the Kranzel. They're
Yeah.
two different beasts.
Mm.
So I do have a question when it comes to mobile, and I've been talking to a lot of guys recently.
Yeah.
Shop guys, mobile guys. Air. What do you do for air with mobile? Do you have a generator or a compressor,
No,
or do you use electric air?
so for air, when I do blowouts and everything like that, I have it's a shop vac from
Okay.
Home Depot, from Rigid that has a leaf blower on top.
Yeah.
So all I do is pull it out and just I modify the nozzle a little bit. I did want to carry compressed air, but I don't feel that I need it having that shop vac. Yeah, I have a little tank from Harbor Freight that's probably like I don't know, maybe like 5 or 10 gallon one.
Oh, like a
But
pancake
yeah,
compressor. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But I use electric air in this case because I've seen um no offense to anybody that uses it or anything, and I would want it, but I kind of felt like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna work for me. The little tornado,
Oh, the Tornadors, yeah.
the tornador. There you go. I felt that for it's kind of cool, for crevices and stuff like that. But I feel that the surface area that it produces is like very small, and with the leaf blower, like I get a lot more surface area covered. So for me, that's way better than, and I don't have to carry any type of compressor or anything like that.
Yeah,
So it's minimized.
I like that. I came from shop, but I started in my early years in recon. So I was
Mm.
doing trash trade-ins. So I had to have air, and Tornadors, they're a lifesaver.
Oh, really?
So I've been using them for over a decade.
Mm.
Back before they even had the Tornador Black, like now
Mm.
the ones with the metal inserts, and
Yeah.
that company makes them, and all
Yeah.
these different companies. But because I came from that environment, I couldn't imagine doing vehicles without crevice, like without a Tornador now.
Mm.
But I came from such a dirty area of the
Yeah.
business that it's different than going to a mobile customer.
Yeah.
They're not as trashy. These people actually care about their cars in the
Yeah.
most sense. I
Right.
mean, you'll run into a dirty
Yeah.
man every once in a while, but
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, and I've seen like Mario 818.
Yeah.
Like he was big on electric air
Yeah.
too, so he was always about that. So I never understood it until I actually got out there doing mobile and seeing that the cars are in better shape than you think they are.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's I've never really used one,
Mm.
in a full day of my work. So I don't know if it would benefit me or not. But yeah, you're right. It's a lot of the things that I've noticed, that people are used to, that people are familiar to. Like I still have a very controversial debate on certain things. Not I'm not talking like high end, like, 3-step cuts or anything like that. But I still wonder, like, can we get away with doing, maybe a 1-step or a 2-step with a DA as opposed to needing to use a rotary? That's been a really big question, and I follow some guys on Instagram that are diehard rotary, and I've used it. I know how to use it. My thing is just like, is that just because they're used to that, or is their technology like up to date for, not having to? And I guess it
Yeah,
really
yeah,
depends
it's
on
a debate.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I've been using. I know, like when you were talking about boats earlier, I
Yeah.
couldn't ever imagine doing a boat without a rotary
Yeah.
because you're going to
That's the
use
one
that
thing we
cut.
did. Yeah. We for
Yeah,
sure cut that thing with a rotary because, yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
but yeah, newer paint technology. Yeah, I know. Like you can get like a much refined clarity with the
Hmm.
rotary, and it does give you that nice cut. But yeah, I think maybe with newer paint systems, it's not necessarily needed,
Yeah.
but I think it's a good tool to have in your back
Yeah.
pocket.
I agree. I
So
have both, and again, even though I've been working with my friends that own a body shop since I was 14, I never got to use their polish, so I never learned on rotary. But now, what I do is I finish their cars. So whenever they paint,
yeah.
there's always I'm cleaning up all the holograms on the car that are left from the rotary.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm always like, you know, I tell my friend, like, tell your dad not to touch the car because he makes it worse. I'll just do it myself with the DA,
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't always work out like that.
No, I know that 5 minutes that they cut. Now it's going to take me 5 hours to fix the
Yes,
mess they did. I feel like,
exactly,
which
exactly.
leads me to polishing. Right,
Yeah,
there is that controversial thought of do you polish outside? Right, do you want to introduce any more damage with anything blowing around? Are you going to do small little section by section? Is the paint going to be too hot? How do you feel personally about polishing mobily?
yeah. Polishing outside, I don't have a problem with because I'm very meticulous. I have my own canopy, and I always put it up no matter what. Um, Aside from that, one of the biggest things that changed when I went with my mentor is polishing with the light. Before I never polished with the light, to get that reflection. And that's why I was like, how did I make the cars look good if I missed so much?
Yeah,
But I think you can control the environment up to a certain point.
yeah.
I remember going up to one of my friends that had bought a house in Santa Clarita, one of those new areas or something. And I told him, I was like, hey, I was like, I cannot polish your vehicle because it was so windy
Yo, yeah, yeah.
that the wind was pushing sand up the hill and straight over. And even with me flipping the car, I was like, no, this is introducing more things. So if you can get in an environment to be as controlled as possible, sometimes I've even gone as far as to putting like canopy up and tarps on the side
Yeah,
just to minimize whichever the wind is coming. But yeah, I can pretty much after doing it for so long, I know how long it'll take me. I could gauge it because of the wind and everything, and I'm like, okay, yes we can, or no we can't, or we'll just wait for another day. You know, the only other thing with that is just the application of coatings in the outside. And of course we're never gonna do it under these conditions, like where there's a lot of moisture in the air and stuff like that.
yeah.
But thankfully, California has a lot of dry spells and stuff like that, so it helps out.
At
Yeah.
this point, you're pretty well versed in coatings. Is there
hmm
any coating that you recommend for installation outdoor?
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very biased on this because again, this was what I was learning with my mentor,
Mhm.
uh, and then it was is Gian.
Yeah.
Gian has been so great at their formulas. Um, They have two different versions. Well, before probably because now they have the Geon, the Evo coatings,
Yes.
which
Yep.
are probably like 2 years old.
Hmm.
And before that, they didn't. So
Dead most right.
they
Most.
had Flash.
Yeah.
Flash was made specifically for mobile detailers. It
Hmm.
was certification through that because it was a little bit more forgiving, but it would dry in a good amount of time.
Gotcha.
But now, ever since their Evo collection, I feel it's great. You just have to kind of be working with shorter spaces when you start to get into like the synchro level
Hmm.
or Mo's, anything like that. But they've done a great job at having it be very forgiving and just working correctly. Out of the other ones that I've used, Carbon Collective is good as
Hmm. Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I like theirs. And Dr. Beasley's also, but you're right in the flash taking a little bit longer. The first time where we did the clinic with you, I was surprised. I was like, wow, that is kind of like a long flash.
Hmm.
And most of the time you want to make sure that if you're mobile, you keep everything within a window.
Yeah.
So, that really changes the game. But yeah. But I would say, yeah, Gion biased.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being biased because that's where
Yeah,
we get to learn. And without that, how do you know what everybody else is using? And if you're like, oh,
exactly.
I'm in the LA area and I want to use Guion or Gion,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
pronunciation has always been a
Yeah.
problem for
Either.
me. But it's like, oh, well, I know Cal knows it. I need to
Yeah.
Cal and learn more. Which is, I think, beneficial. Be with everybody using so many different products, we can
hmm
learn everything about everything because somebody is going to be using it around here.
Yeah, that's why in the very beginning, again, when I was starting off with my mentor, and that's the first thing that we were starting off with, Gian,
Mm-hmm.
and I would watch these videos, Chicago Auto Pros, because they have such a high volume of cars.
Yeah.
They use so many different, coatings and stuff like that. So they would do a lot of comparisons, and that's where I looked for it. It's
Mm-hmm.
like who's using this in the industry, who has actual reports of what's going on. And yeah, lo and behold, we all got super excited when they did a video, and they're like, "Well, yeah, we got to give it to Gian. This has been one of the long lasting." So I hit up my rep from Gian. I was like, "Bro, did you just see this?" I was like, "Oh my god, super happy!" And it's cool, because there's a lot of companies that are coming out, and I don't know enough to speak about like if they're good or if they're bad. But my whole thing is like, where's the information behind it?
Yeah.
If I don't see too much like real world information from real detailers, I'm not, I'm being a little skeptical.
Of
Yeah.
course. I mean, because of what I've just been doing for the past 5 years, I've been
hmm
able to grow my network connections and actually really get to test a lot of different coatings that I probably would
Yeah.
have never tried, right? So
Yeah.
I've tried probably 30, 40 different coatings that I would
Wow.
have never got a chance. I wouldn't have spent my money to try them.
Right,
Now,
right.
like because I was testing them for a corporation for the program
Mhm.
we were running, I got to
Mhm.
try some things. But I got a chance to meet Aaron Noxie.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they're doing something that is kind of controversial right now with the
Okay.
avant-garde 1051. Have you heard about
Yeah.
it? Where it's like
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
so I trust him because I got a chance to really talk to him and meet him, but it's one of those hot button issues. Where do you stand on like those controversial ones where they're like snake oil, people are saying this one's not going to work, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like I was watching some of the tests where they were coating right over like 3,000 grit scratches and not polishing, and it looked beautiful. So like it's one of those things like where are your thoughts at on that?
Yeah, so funny enough, I was posting up a video on Instagram maybe like I want to say like 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had this guy comment on the video. He's like, "Hey, that's super dope. Really happy for you. I got an opportunity for you if you're willing to hear it." So I was like, "Okay, sure." I hit him up. It was all through Instagram.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, yeah, I used to work. I used to live right there in California, right in Los Angeles, so I know where you're from and everything. But I'm over here. I think he was like in Michigan or something."
Okay, okay.
And he started telling me about this product, and he's like, "Yeah, it's a coating." He's like, "It's gonna be different. It'll last 5 years, guaranteed." He's like, and I had heard something like that for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "Is this the one where if they want to remove it, they have to, sand it off?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm sure there's different companies for that, but I was like, I let him go through his little spiel.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically what he said was he's like they get a lot of dealer contracts to pretty much all the tradings or any cars that have big scratches. They'll just go on, they'll just put it on, and it just looks like glass right after, but they're adding like very thick product, and it
Mm-hmm.
has to be put on a specific way. And so for me, when I hear about these things, it's like, okay, first off, would I put that on my car? First answer is no. If it's something crazy like that where I have to sand off, I was like, no. So that's the first thing for me. The second thing is again, how will I pitch this to a client, and
Yeah.
what are the potential things that they can say yes or no about? Um, the one that you're talking about, I'm not too familiar with it yet, but
Yeah.
you got other companies like for example, I think it's called System X that
Yeah. Yeah.
are,
There.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're offering to add that on to your Carfax report.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked the rep once, I was like, well, how many people look for that in a Carfax? I was like, what's the benefit for that?
Mm-hmm.
What does it do? And kind of stumbled, gave me like a more broad answer. But yeah, for me, that wasn't enough for me to be like, hey, let me try that. And then their coatings were a lot more expensive than,
Yeah.
Geon and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm curious to see what that one is with Knox.
Yeah. They're gonna be at SEMA. Are you going to SEMA this year?
I was gonna ask you, are you?
The plan is, yeah, the plan is to
Yeah,
go. I probably won't stay all week.
yeah,
Um, because I'm not a big car person. I'm a big
yeah,
detailing person, right? So
yeah,
I don't care about the aftermarket rims and
yeah,
tires and like all
yeah,
that section.
yeah,
I really only care about detailing. So I stay in
yeah,
the detailing hall and the
yeah, yeah,
new products hall, and that's
yeah,
really it. So it takes me a day, maybe
yeah.
two, and I'm usually done. So, but it's 4 days long, and why do I
No,
need to stay 4 days? Like,
that so I bought tickets the last 3 years and I've never gone.
I
And
hear that.
even last year, I told you that I was gonna end up going,
Mm-hmm.
and I was so I would procrastinate about so much that right when it was like, okay, well, this is next week, and I was like, well, I don't have money to even go to a hotel there or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I had my apartment last year, but now it's gone. I'm
Yeah,
back here in
yeah,
LA, but I do want to go, and I think that would probably be my best thing, is because my main focus is detailing now.
yeah.
So I want to go because I was at a Beamer Invasion show in Pomona a few months ago,
Okay, okay.
and I didn't even know Gion was going to be there.
Mm.
So I was like, wow, they never have a booth here. And I went to go talk to the guy, and he saw my shirt. He's like, hey, you're blacklisted. So, getting that recognition was pretty cool. So that's what I want to do. I want to go talk to the people within the industry that I'm in. You're right. All the other stuff is icing on the cake, but I really do want to make it a point, and I think I'm gonna go, even if it's just like you said, for 1 or 2 days. I don't need to stay for the whole thing. I can come back and work, but as long as I touch all those networking
Yeah.
opportunities, yeah, it's gonna be worth it. So
And there's always a couple of little fun things to do. I know a lot of
yeah.
brands will have like their party if you're one of their
Oh,
installers or things
oh,
like
okay.
that. Like that does happen. But
Yeah.
Rennie has his Night of Stars party, which is always a good
Oh,
time. And they do like a big like giveaway and raffle and stuff like that. So like they give away stuff from all different brands and everything. It's a
oh,
great
that's cool.
time. So I usually go every year.
Yeah.
Mario's usually there. We usually have a bunch of us go.
Okay.
So if you get the chance, it's a
Okay.
good time. Lots of big people, well, people that you want to meet is
Right.
are there.
Right.
So it's a good opportunity to expand that networking, and that's
Okay.
what I found. SEMA is very networking based.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
MTE, which is on the East Coast, which is in Orlando, that's usually at the end of January. I
Yeah.
prefer that show.
Yeah, I want to go to that one. Now, I didn't know how far it was until I looked up the pricing and everything.
Yep.
I was like, okay, well, I got a plan for that. But yeah, that one looks really, really cool because they have all the other mobile tech guys for like the little dent removals and
Yep.
stuff like that. And sometimes I have high-end clients that, I had this client that had a Rolls, and he's like, hey, do somebody? And I was like, well, my mentor's guy, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be really cool to see. And the fact that they're all live demos right there, even more. And it's like you said, it's like the whole nitty-gritty of like actually what we're doing. So that's even better.
And then not only that, now, and I don't know how you feel about this, and a lot of guys feel a certain kind of way because it's one of those like ego things where people want to do it but they really don't, but then
Mm,
they get in it. It's so they do PDR competitions there. They do
okay.
solo and they do tag team. But
Yeah.
now last year they did a paint correction competition.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's one of those things where it's like, how do you feel about that? Like, I know everybody has a little bit of ego. How do you feel about a good natured competition? Or do you think that it has the ability to morph into where that could get really ugly? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm all for it because yeah, just a little background. I used to do graffiti, and the
Mm-hmm.
point of doing graffiti is to get your name out and get known.
Yep.
A lot of times you're gonna have to battle people, and you only progress when that happens. And um one of the I want you to help me with the name. The dude that has a company with the Rid Sticks, the KCK. What's
Oh,
his name?
Kilmer. Kilmer.
Kilmer, yes.
Yeah.
So my mentor told me about how he has like very prestigious competitions under his belt, like
Mm-hmm.
show winning cars. So you can't get to that level if you're not doing that in practice. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to be in a competition like that. And if I were to lose and be told, this is why, this is what we're looking for, all it's gonna do is enhance my work moving forward. And again, I like to say everything that I do because it only benefits my clients. Like I love that. Yeah, I could get a trophy and everything, but if it's my client's plaque for their car
Yeah.
and they get to keep that forever, man, that's great. That's great.
And
So yeah.
they're basically little like tiny like the display hoods that they put under like the ceramic like
Yeah.
display units. It's basically like that size,
Yeah.
single stage black, like GM like black. So it's
Yeah.
super soft,
Yeah.
and they're like you can use whatever polish, whatever
Oh,
tool
that's
you
good.
want. So you get to bring handle all the parameters. The only thing that's set is the material, right?
Oh,
And
nice.
it's pretty neat. There were a lot of good people that got in it. Like I watched Mike Phillips compete in it last
Oh
year.
yeah. Yeah.
Jason Rose got in. So there was a lot of big
Yeah.
names. And then like one a guy from like the Detail Mafia ended up winning.
Oh
But
yeah.
he's not like a big name in the industry.
Yeah.
So it's possible anybody can win. And they put like one of those gloss meters on it,
Oh
and they
yeah.
measure everything like scientifically instead of like
Nah,
oh this
see, that's
person won.
that's up my tech nerd alley, so that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, and
When
then
you get a chance, are you going to enter? I think it's like $100 entry fee. So if you
oh
get on
man.
MTE this year, are you in?
Yeah, I am. I am. I'm in because it's funny because with my mentor also, like, without getting into too much name dropping or
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that, we were focused on one specific type of polish,
Hmm.
like the actual compound and everything. And he kind of gave me a comparison. He's like, show me what you work with on this car and do half of the door. And I'm going to show you with mine on the other half.
Yeah.
And the results were insane. And I've been working with that product for over 5 years. That just recently I was pitching an idea to them, and they came back with an alternative thing, but I'm now an ambassador for them.
Very nice.
So I swear by that polish. So it'd be great to kind of like put them on the map if that's what it is that I'm gonna use and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it'd be really cool. So yeah. And we just have to understand science always changes. So
Sure.
just whatever works with what we have, the different types of paint systems now, that's
Hmm.
what's gonna help out. I started off with using a step system,
Hmm.
right? It's like use this polish 01 and then
Yeah.
use this polish 03 and then like this. So I felt that for the mobile,
Hmm.
that was not cutting it, which is why I had to switch to what is going to give me a good cut the first time, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I kind of like pushed away from all those stepped ones, but I have seen pie cars. I have seen a few of the things, demonstrations. Again, I have yet to use them, but yeah.
I've gotten a chance to use it, and I was actually really impressed, which
Mm,
led me back into that rabbit hole. Like, am I using everything that I could to actually be as efficient as possible, right? Because
yeah.
these leads, you're kind of working. It's got that long working time. You're going and working and working and working. But how can I do this faster, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been testing out something that because I'm going to be doing a training here next week, and
Okay.
I was asked to try out some Malco stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And now Malco, I'm not going to lie to you, I had gotten to the point recently, a few years ago, where I was like, if it's not one of these big brands, I probably don't want to try it.
Yes.
It looks like it belongs on the shelves at Big Lots or something like that, or AutoZone.
I'm
But
a label whore like that. Yeah.
I've been at times, and like then I'll try like cheap stuff and like
Yeah.
um technician's choice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mario or A18, he'll be like, I don't want to use that because it looks like it's on the shelf at Big Lots. But then he finally
Yeah.
tried the ceramic detail spray, and he's like, oh, I
Oh
love it.
yeah. That
And
thing's
I was like, I
crazy.
told you. But he
Yeah.
didn't want to try it because it looks like the labeling is so bad on
It
Technician's
looks
Choice.
off.
All their products look so cheap.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
have you had a chance to test it, do any research testing for any companies yet, and do like some real world testing before trying anything
No,
yet?
not yet because yeah, I haven't had people reach out to me and send me stuff. Again, like my mentor, he gets things from people he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never had that, which would be kind of good. I think on my LinkedIn profile I put like open to product testing or something like that. But maybe I haven't made that known too much, which is why I haven't done it. But it'd be great to do that.
What would you say that's like a goal, like something you would like to be able to do for a company one day, or something that if the opportunity ever came by, you would say okay, but it's not something that you really focus on?
Yeah, no, I would definitely like to do that because again, whether or not I use the product, I'm gonna get knowledge from it.
Hmm.
And if they want, see, this is one of the things that has always gotten me about like big companies for anything, is all they have to do things right or something is just listen to their customers, listen to their clients.
Yeah.
So if these companies are actually willing to take a 100%, straight answer and review of their product, it'll only help them out. And if that's something that I can do for whoever, whenever, yeah, I'd be more than happy to do that. Because again, like you said, there's detailers and there's detailers. There's people that do this on the weekend, which is cool,
Yeah.
and then there's people that this is their life. They do it day in and day out. So they've been around a lot of different cars, different environments, different things like that. So it will help to get, my unique advantage or my unique perspective on it.
And I think where you have an area that you can get in
Hmm.
is whether it's SEMA or whether it's MTE or an event like these,
Yeah.
go to those brands who don't really make like mobile friendly lines
Oh, yeah.
and say, hey, I'm mobile in sunny Southern California.
Yeah.
I need some products. Do you have anything in development? Do you have
Yeah.
anything that you would like tested out? I can try it out for you. I can give you some feedback. I'm out here in on the grind kind of thing. And
That's cool.
I found some people who are receptive to items like that. So when we were doing the mobile
Nice.
detailing pilot, we
Yeah.
had people sending us stuff so that we could try it out and trial it. So keep
Wow.
that in mind if you ever
Okay.
get the opportunity. I think it's an opportunity where a lot of people don't think they can make an impact or have a
Yeah.
say so, and you don't have to be with that company to be able to
Yeah.
try stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking for expansion in a new market. So keep it in
Definitely.
mind.
Yeah. Thank you. That's great advice. Yeah, I've never thought about that. Thank you.
I know there's ego and I know there's competition, but at the
Hmm.
same time, we could still boost each other up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can still grow.
Not only that, and again, that's why when you brought me on to IDA and just everything about it, I was like, this is what people need because they need to get out of their little myopic view and
Mm-hmm.
like look at the broad spectrum. If you just want to do what you're gonna do, for you and your family, cool, not a
Yeah.
problem. But if you're really trying to, advance yourself, all these big companies do the same thing. They spend so much money on R&D for whatever their products are
Mm-hmm.
that if this is my business, why shouldn't I do that? You know?
Exactly. And
So
the community can grow. And I know there's always those little cliques, right?
yeah,
But at the same time, you have groups like Rigo's group, right?
yeah,
And I
yeah,
know there's people who look favorably upon that, and there's people who look negatively upon
yeah,
his group because he caters to the Spanish descent, and he's
right,
he's trying to build up that community because
right.
they've been taken advantage of for so long, right?
I agree.
Like I
I agree.
understand what he's doing, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
But there's other people who look at it, and they're like, "Oh, he's only out for these people." And then
yeah,
there's certain groups, but at the same time, like he's building up a community and he's making it strong. They're part of the IDA. He's trying to grow a lot of things together. So
yeah.
it doesn't have to be a bad thing to grow. I think there's an opportunity for everybody to eat.
People are scared of change sometimes, and I've seen that. Whether it be with products, the way they do things, or I even had someone tell me, hey, I'm comfortable where I'm at. I don't need to do anything extra, so stop giving me advice. And I was like, wow, okay, but and that's the thing that we have to understand. As much as we want to help other people, maybe they're not looking for that. You know,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
big thing. I had to learn that the hard way, and this was a really good friend, and I was like, they're like, every time you bring it up, you pressure me, and I was like,
Mm.
wow. I was like, now I understand. I was like, thank you for telling me. So, for the people that do want more, this is
Yeah.
where it's at. And for those that don't, we're still here if you guys need anything.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, yeah, I won't try
Yeah.
to help you out anymore, but
Right.
I'm here. If you need
Yeah.
anything ever, I got you.
Yeah. Hmm.
I, I
Again,
guess it's my mind. I don't think that people are ever just happy where they're at. And I'm like, no, let's do something else. Let's do more. Let's keep growing as a
yeah.
team. Like
Yeah.
let's just do this. Let's take over the whole world.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And
that's one of
it's
those
funny
things where
because I was watching a podcast and it's this one dude, his name's Steve Bartlett, right?
okay,
So he's the main guy from the podcast, and he asked his friend, he's like, what do you see that I'm doing wrong, or what is it that you would advise me? And he's like, maybe to like take a break. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, every time it's always like, hey, this new idea, I got this. Like, let's start a new YouTube channel. Like, let's do this and that. Let's do this. And he's like, when is it ever going to be enough for you?
mm,
And I was like, that's interesting. But he came back with a good response, which is what I would have said too. It's like, if I don't progress, I don't feel like I'm growing. I don't like to
true,
become stagnant. And again, like you said, if these are new ideas, it's for more growth.
yeah,
And I'm just not used to not having growth. So that's why I'm here. That's the entrepreneur in me.
mm,
And it's gonna stay that way. And it's just, again, it's the whole people don't like change thing. They like what they're doing. So there's we can recognize somebody just off of the energy and vibrations. That is like, when I met you, I was like, oh yeah, like hell yeah. And then you're telling me things like, hey, we're doing this. I was like, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
So we recognize that. And some people just have to get like pushed into the circle and be like, oh yeah, I never thought about that, because they might be scared to ask. They might be scared to look like they don't know, or like they're asking for help. So
true.
making all this information available to whoever wants it helps, because you're probably answering questions that they might have. That's why I always leave my channel open to any
Mhm.
questions. Like, don't be scared. Ask me anything. Nothing's a stupid question. Like, that's it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like I will answer any question. I have
Yeah.
no problem doing it. And so like, are there stupid questions? I mean, yeah, but
Maybe. Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
let's have that conversation, and it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean it was a dumb question. Maybe
Yeah.
you already knew the answer. You were
Yeah.
just looking for confirmation on what you already thought, kind of thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you had one skill or one addition to your services you could add, what would it be right now?
Yeah, definitely PPF.
Yeah.
At the Peterson, Onyx Shield did a demo. It's a
Mm-hmm.
PPF brand, and I started talking to them, and I was like, hey, I was like, how controlled does your environment have to be to install PPF? I go, and the reason I'm asking is, say for example, I have a client with a garage that fits the car. Like, am I able to just put my canopy and close off the walls and still be okay? And they're like, I'm not really sure. Like, it depends on a lot of stuff. So I was like, that'd be something that, if I could offer mobile PPF, say if we were just doing the front of the car all the time, yeah, that's something that's doable
Yeah.
if I'm able to do that. And all I think the only thing that they told me was, you want to check the PPF at least 24 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, I'm already like, the gears are grinding. It's like, okay, so this is a service. It's an 8 hour job or whatever it takes. It's a 2 day job, because I'm gonna have to come back and double check how everything is the day after, and then after that, we'll do a quality control inspection a week later.
Yeah.
So if that's viable, what is the customer willing to pay for that at home?
Is Onyx Shield the one who does the Blask
Yeah,
ceramic coating too?
yeah, it's them.
I just want a bottle of the Blask just because of my nerdiness, just for the flask
Oh
alone.
yeah,
I
I
don't even
think.
want to use it.
Yeah, I don't know. We might have to ask David. I know they don't have it in the shop, but he said, because I asked him, I was like, "What's Blask?"
Hmm.
And he explained to me, and I was like, "Oh, interesting." I was like, "Okay, I didn't know that." He's like, "I have some at home." He's like, "Let me
Yeah.
know." So
I just
yeah,
want the
but,
bottle.
yeah, it looks
That's
cool,
it.
huh?
Like, I mean,
Yeah,
but PPF is one of those services where like I can teach you the basics in one
yeah,
day.
yeah.
If you want to get into like actually doing full hoods and bulk installing, that's another story that takes a little bit longer. But I can
Right.
teach pre-cuts, I can teach you how to trim, I can teach
Yeah,
you how to do door edges, door
yeah,
sills, cups. I mean, you can have all that done. You know the Porsches where the rockers are?
yeah, yeah.
Replace those bad pieces, put a new
Oh
piece on,
man,
like all that. Like those are easy. I can teach you all that in a
yeah,
day, no
yeah.
problem. So that's where
Okay.
we're going to start. Those are going to be our first PPF classes that we teach
Yeah,
in the academy.
nice. Yeah, I'm all for
So
that.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
PPF is one of those things where like I've taught it pretty much for the past couple years how to do pre-cuts.
yeah,
I was traveling all around the country doing pre-cut training.
yeah.
So the balloon training that I do and all
That
that,
one, yeah.
yeah.
That
So
one I'm
that's all
nervous
PPF.
about, but I'm like, okay, if I mess up, he'll be there to tell me what I did wrong. But
Yeah.
yeah, when you
There are
explained that, I
they
saw it.
the real official sites, they have these plates, these sensor plates where they'll do it on,
Oh,
and it works. It's like operation where if you hit it
yeah.
too hard, but
Yeah.
they're cool. But I like the balloons because I like the pop effect.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
And
little bit, yeah. I would prefer that over the sensors, because it's different. It's like one of those things where it's like, okay, you just have to start all over again and get it right this time. So
and
yeah, I wouldn't mind with
it
that.
lets you know that the minute you pop that balloon, you scratch the
Hmm.
paint
Yeah,
if you were on a car.
yeah,
So it's easy to do for some people not so much.
yeah,
I taught a class in Chicago. I taught intro to PPF, and I was there with E-Man, who
yeah.
worked for Optical. he did the advanced training because he's a magician. He's nasty. But we were sitting there and he's carving squigglies on the balloon, like everything, like he's going to town.
Oh my
And
God!
I'm just
Wow.
teaching people how to do straight lines, and he's sitting there just carving swans on the
Oh
balloon. And
man,
so
that's
there's a
cool.
lot of fun stuff with PPF. I think there's a lot to
Yeah,
learn.
yeah. It's a great, and now I feel like just the way the economy is going is it's a little different because a lot of people are kind of keeping the economy up a little bit because they're still
Mm-hmm.
spending money, you know, and a lot of that is because they have more disposable money. So PPF has gotten bigger, you
Mm-hmm.
know, within these last few years. So it'd be great to have another, you know, high ticket service.
Yeah. And it's one of those things like I'm sure you've noticed because you do a lot of high end cars. Just
Mhm.
we live in LA. You're gonna
Yeah.
do high end cars. Those door sills that people are getting in and out of and they're
Oh
scuffing
my God.
all up. If I could teach you how to just polish that out real fast, put on a piece
Put
of
it late.
PPF right there, that's an easy upsell. And it takes 5-10 minutes to install. Like
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
fast
See,
and quick.
I think I've gotten a quote for one of my friends for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they had mentioned something like $300. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Just
Easy.
for that? And I'm gonna give a public service announcement right now. My friend took delivery of a BMW M3
Okay.
2025 competition series. Within, I kid you not, like the first 3 weeks, the doors have this white, I don't know if it's lithium grease or what type of grease inside the water channel of the door. You know
Oh,
how they
okay.
have the
Yeah.
two little holes?
Yeah.
Whatever that grease has
Leaking down.
stains. It stains
Yeah.
the sill. And
Hmm.
we mentioned it to BMW because, you know, that he's paid a lot of money for that car.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we've never heard that before. But I've worked on tons of brand new BMWs and that
Hmm.
stain is always there. And I always push them to PPF. But of course, I don't do that or anything like that, you know? So,
Well, there is a thing, and this is when you work in OEMs or you ever work
mhm,
for like a brand.
yeah.
If it's not reported as a trend to the
Oh,
manufacturing, they
yeah.
won't know about it. So unless it's being reported directly to BMW
Mm,
consistently, and a trend has to be like over hundreds of cases. It can't just be a
wow.
one-off. Um, I worked for an OEM and we would start blasting trends. So the minute
Yeah.
we started seeing them, um, we had this paint drip on the front
Yeah.
bumper of the first like 500 vehicles we did. We started reporting every single one, and we got them to change the paint process for the bumper because
Oh,
they were leaving this
interesting.
nasty drip. But if something isn't going being reported correctly through the proper channels, it never
Yeah.
makes it to the right people, and they won't address it. They'll be like, "Oh, we've never heard it before."
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe I could talk with my friend because again, I went with him to the Beamer Invasion
Mm-hmm.
show, all Beamers, and they're a pretty well-rounded group and the organizers. So maybe if they send a blast to all their people and be like, "Hey, if you've noticed this, please let us know because we're trying to address this with BMW." Maybe that would help.
It would,
Cool,
it would, but
cool.
without knowing those proper channels or routes, people
Right.
don't really have a way to communicate that. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Because I think all he told was his the sales guy
Hmm.
or the service guy, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to do anything about it.
But no, at that point, I mean, they don't really care.
Yeah,
They're
the
just
car's
trying to get the
sold already.
car. Yeah, get it out of here. Get it out of here.
Yeah,
Get it out of here.
exactly,
Who wants you
exactly.
to? Here, do you want to sit down?
Mm.
You want to sit in a chair? Yeah. Okay, cool. Can you shut the door?
We have our special guest that just entered right now.
Well, she likes to do and be a part of the interviews, and she just did her
Yeah,
first interview recently. But
I
she
love
was doing
that.
homework, and she was enjoying her time not being in school right now.
Oh
And
yeah,
practice was canceled tonight because normally
yeah,
she's cheerleading.
Yeah,
But
but there was
that's right.
rain.
oh, the
Yeah.
rain.
Well, I like your product review videos. I've seen those with your dad. I've seen the raffles. I've seen all of them. So keep up the good work. Good job.
So she's
Yeah.
been practicing. She got to meet Sarah from
Hmm.
Rupes,
Oh
and
wow.
Sarah told her what she needs to practice with to
Yeah,
get better with like sanding and rotary. So
that's great.
we've had the Rupes rotary out, and she's been practicing like right here in the garage and having a good time.
Nice.
Yeah, on the car he
It's
can't see
hard.
it.
They're beautiful.
What is your unicorn when it comes to detailing that you may or may not have detailed yet? What is that one car that you want to be able to detail, or you haven't
I
yet?
haven't yet. It has to be my dream car and the type of vehicles that I fell in love with first. It would have to be a 1939 Chevy Master Deluxe.
Oh, okay.
Um, I would have to say that it would have to have the newer lowrider style paint system
Hmm.
because they have massive amounts of clears on that or a lot of candy colored paint. Um, I have been lucky enough to work on McLaren,
Hmm.
P1, Bugatti, um, Dinos,
Hmm.
Aston Martins, all because of my mentors. So I feel they're great. Um, the one car that I love working on is a Rolls Royce
Okay.
because their paint is so beautiful,
So easy to
but
work
I
with.
feel it's so hard that
Hmm.
it gives you so much room to correct and it still doesn't affect like the
Hmm.
quality of it or anything. But yeah, I would have to say that the only other yeah, there's a car that I haven't seen on this side of the world, the Bugatti Levatoire Noir, the black
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one that's one of the cars that I use for my old business cards. So
Mm.
yeah, it'd be great. But yeah, I would have to say I grew up with my friend. His dad, rest in peace. Danny D was a very big lowrider paint guy,
Yeah.
and he showed us all the different ways that they used to do the paints with the different layering,
Hmm.
the clears, the pinstriping, and all that. So again, for me, that's a lot harder than just polishing out a regular car.
Like
Yeah,
Mia, she'll get to do a Urus.
yeah,
Obviously, I mean, there's
yeah,
so many of them in LA. She'll do one. I've done
yeah,
hundreds of them. I feel
yeah,
like thousands at this point. I
yeah.
hate them. I hate. I mean, they're
Really?
just they're Audi Q8 RSs. That's all they are.
That's what I was gonna tell you because I saw someone that just showed he was like, oh, let me show you why this is actually an Audi, and they lifted the
Yeah.
car up and everything, and so I
Hmm.
understand.
I've done some really cool cars. I've
Hmm.
done like the Pininfarina Batista, like I've done some
Ooh.
really fun stuff. But at the same time, what's your least favorite car to detail? Like I hate doing certain types of cars. What do you prefer not to do? But you'll do it because the money's there.
Single stage.
Any single stage
Um,
paint.
yeah, because it's just like I recently did a friend's 1990 RX-7.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went, I was looking, I was researching, what Mazda had as far as paint systems in that time frame.
Yeah.
And for their black, they had single stage, and for
Oh
every other
yeah, yeah.
color, they had the regular system. And I I turned down a job a long time ago when I was just starting for a Ferrari that was single stage.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. And what's funny is that again with my mentor, we got to work with this Porsche restoration shop
Okay.
and we did 1956 Porsches up until now. So I
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of like hands-on training with single stage, which I have no problem doing. It's
Yeah.
just I don't feel I get the same like effect that I would get from a modern paint system.
What's been
Yeah.
your biggest mistake or your biggest regret of doing something in detailing?
At the beginning, when I had to do an interior detail, and it wasn't until that first year that I got with my mentor that he explained to me why it was important for me to have a hazmat fee on
Mm.
top of the interior detailing if we were doing any type of bodily fluids from human or from animal.
Yeah.
And he explained the safety precaution. The reason that they're doing it too is because he's like, you're gonna go home to your son. He's like, you don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
taking whatever there is there, so you need the whole hazmat suit and everything. And I had done probably like three or so like horrific details that entailed some girl that had a little Honda Civic that let her little pug do whatever he wanted in the back, and that's how she lived. And I was like, what? Like, and I just charged her like 150, and it took me like 5 hours. And I was like, oh my god, because I was like, it's a little Civic, it's gonna be quick and everything. But yeah, that was my biggest regret, you know. And again, I didn't know how to price correctly before, so it's not so much by the hour, but it's what am I doing now? My hazmat fees are like $350 to $400 on top of what my interior detail costs, and people do pay for that because they know no one else is going to do that, especially
Yes.
Uber drivers.
Oh,
Uber drivers always
yes.
do that. Yeah,
Just
just
for
for fun.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Tell
for
'em.
fun. Who would be your MT Rushmore of detailers? Top four.
My
Who
what?
your Mount Rushmore of people to work with in detailing are people that you've watched or whatever it is. Who are the if you could do a car, you only have one car to do. It's
Yeah,
a Bugatti Noir, right? You got
yeah,
four people anywhere in the world to work with. Who are the four people that you and you have access to everybody. You have all their numbers. Who are you
yeah.
grabbing? Who are you calling?
For sure. My mentor Henry at SoCal Auto Detail Center. Um, there's this guy on Instagram. His name's Pete Details.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's great. Knox just got him into avant garde.
Mm-hmm.
There's also oh man, I'm blanking on his name. Dr. Shine.
Oh, Shine Doctor.
Shine Doctor, yeah. Yeah. Arte Automovilística right there. And Jason Kilmer, man. Jason
Kilmer.
Kilmer.
Yeah.
I've seen so many of his videos. It is so crazy the technique that he uses. I love that he uses a lot of like hearing to determine whether you're doing something correctly. Like we could tell like speeds on a
Yeah.
on a machine or something, but when he's sanding, he's like, you hear this noise, you hear this. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's those are my top right now.
That's I mean, and I think it's always fun because it's not like an ego thing. It's more so like,
Yeah.
hey, if I ever get the chance to work with that person, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So when you actually get to start to meet all these people
Yeah.
and be in the room, it's a cool experience, but it's the networking, right? It's the
It
growth,
is.
and just being able to pick people. I'll try to wrap it up and not keep you too much longer.
You're
Do you
good,
listen to
man.
music when you detail?
You know what? I did at the very beginning. What I listen to now are podcasts.
Cool.
And it kind of helps out a little bit more because the minute that I'll get on a car, like I'll look for a 2.5, 3 hour podcast. And
Mm.
I love that. I retain a lot of the stuff and I'm working at the same time. So yeah, it's I again, when I don't have progress, I don't feel I'm growing. So
Yeah.
when I listen to podcasts, they're always educational for a bunch of different things, and yeah, so I listen to podcasts now.
All right. And then last question, really easy. Where
Yeah.
do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Yeah, in the next 5 years, my plan is to eventually have a location, but I want to establish a program that is going to allow high school students that maybe know that they want to get into business already
Mm-hmm.
to earn to have maybe the last 2 years or 3 years of their high school actually owning a business in
Mm.
a way. So what I plan to have is to have a shop with different bays. These bays, I would bring, say for example, a high school student comes, we work with the school, I do the training for them and teach them, and I start them off on maybe like 3 months where I bring them in, bring the cars
Yeah.
to them. And then once those 3 months hit, I ask them, okay, are you ready to now start your own business?
Mm-hmm.
This is how it would work. You would have to create your own, advertising, keep track of your books, kind of show them what they need to, because a lot of the issues that we're having with education now is they have the theory part, but they don't have the hands on.
Yeah.
So that way, by the time they graduate and they want to go into a college or do something, they already have that work experience as like, no, I was the owner of my own small business, through this company and stuff like that. So
And in theory, if you set them up like that, if they decide they want to continue doing it, they can just go
exactly.
from there. So
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
admirable.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think if you do that, I mean,
Everyone
you might
second graders should not know that word.
admirable. You should learn that word. It's a very good word for you to learn.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like kind of like the bays, like car supplies, whereas like they're renting
Exactly.
out. Like with that idea where you're bringing in high school students, I like that. I think that's an amazing idea, and
Yeah.
I really want to see where that goes and
Yeah.
how you proceed to that.
Yeah.
Especially if you can get in with like a local high school, that will be really impressive to see.
Yeah. And I remember when I was working at Mercedes, they hired me before I graduated my mechanic school.
Okay.
And when I got hired, I was hired hourly.
Mm,
And then they kept telling me, okay, do you want to make the jump to flat rate?
yeah.
And I was like, why do you say it like that? Like, that sounds scary. You're going to make more, but it depends
Hmm.
on how much you work.
Yep.
And I was like, well, so I know what that struggle is. So if we have someone that at in the first quarter wants to just keep getting more work under their hand, under their
Hmm.
belt, and are not ready to transition yet, we have that opportunity in a safe environment,
Yeah.
but it's still giving them all the autonomy that they need to be able to say, like, I know how to run a business,
Yeah.
so and my son's 8 right now. So in 5 years, he'll be 13, kind of getting close to that. So I have him in mind as well as, all my other friends and everybody that went to high
But
school.
it's one of
Yeah.
those things where like that's going to be awesome to see, especially if you're able to get to that. Um,
Yeah.
I really look forward to hearing the progress and how
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
continues because that's not an idea that a lot of people go to. They want to teach, but it's
Yeah.
not necessarily they want to teach the next generation. They don't want to
Right.
bring on people who are going to, overtake us one day. We're
Yeah.
not going to be around forever. Our bodies are going to break
Exactly.
down. So eventually, we're going to have to pass the torch, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Not only
And
that, we're gonna set them up on the right path too, so yeah.
all those things that we never got.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing because I watch other podcasts of people that are in business. Like this guy, Alex Hormozy, he tries to give as much as he can to pretty much level the playing field. He's like, I want this to reach the people that didn't have it easy, that didn't grow up a
Mhm.
certain way, and it helps. It helps, so I want to be part of that again, being with the IDA too. Something, it's something bigger than you.
Yeah.
And if you can add a grain of salt to that, by all means, let's do that.
I think it's great, and I think we have a lot of room for growth. And I think the LA community is where the change. She's over here blowing up balloons.
Yes.
The
I was
LA
like, "You okay?"
community is where that change is going to have to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I was told by one of the guys I know who is kind of influential. I can't just talk about it.
Yeah.
If I want to make a change, I have to go do it. I
Yeah.
can't sit on the sidelines anymore
Yeah.
and just complain. So I think that's what we do as a community, and that's how we're all going to grow. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think we have a chance to do something special.
Yeah. I'm ready for it. Of
Sir, I appreciate you spending some time with us, getting a nice
course.
conversation in.
Of
And
course.
wherever you go and whatever's next for you, I'm going to be
Yeah.
watching, and I hope to
Thank you,
see you
man.
very soon. So, everybody, check out Blacklisted. If you need a
Thank
mobile
you.
detail, if you need
Yes.
anything done, hit him up.
Yes.
He's got a website, he's got Instagram,
Yeah.
whatever it is that you need. Go follow him, go subscribe, YouTube, whatever it is.
Thank
To
you.
him and listen to him on Spotify or everything.
Oh yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. All of us. All
Do
of us.
all of those things. It's much needed. He'll get you where you need to be and he'll provide you with the education that you need. And
Yeah.
we will continue growing as a community.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add before I let you go, sir?
No, man. Just since the first day I met you, it's been a godsend. You've put me on to a whole bunch of things that I never knew about. So I'm very thankful for you. I'm thankful for everything that you're doing. And I'm just ready to be a part of it, man. Yeah. And thank you, Mia.
Thank you, sir. You have been a pleasure to work with and
No
to
problem.
actually, do everything that we've talked about. And
Yeah.
it's only going to continue. And I want to surround myself with people who are positive and want to
Same.
see growth. So
Same.
it just works out, and I'm appreciative of you and
Yeah.
everything you're doing. So thank you so much,
No
and
problem,
I
man.
will talk to you soon.
All right, for sure. See you
All right,
later. Bye,
bye, sir.
Mia. Later.